Getting ever so closer to the end of the line of this mini-series where we are reviewing our entire video game collection by console and talking about the most expensive games in our collection. Again, this is in no way a flex, like, oh, hey, look what we have. We're just asked in the comments, hey, what are some of the games you have on the console? What are your most expensive games? And we're like, okay, let's do a mini-series on this. So before you jump to the comment section and get your little asshole groove on, settle down. It's just video games. We're just middle-aged dudes that like freaking collecting video games. So top 10 Dreamcast games in our collection.
Oh, yes.
By price.
Our Dreamcast collection is very small. We have 31 games in our collection, so this is a third of the games we have in our collection that we're going to show off today. But before we jump into the episode, I'm curious, what are the most expensive Dreamcast games in your guys' collection? Let us know in the comments below. I'd love to talk about it because the Dreamcast is one of those expensive consoles, and there are some amazing games for it. But let's jump into our list with number 10. Number 10 is a light gun game, coming in at $34.34, so not terrible. And that's House of the Dead 2 on the SEGA Dreamcast. Ooh, we love House of the Dead. That's what started the channel, was House of the Dead. This game it's pretty good. It's a decent arcade port. I'd much rather play it in the arcade, but it's serviceable.
Yeah, I think, you know, for me, the Dreamcast light gun games is a little bit of a shame in North America because we did not get the officially licensed SEGA gun.
And we did a whole episode on this.
We have a Japanese Dreamcast now, and it plays so much better with those official guns than it does. I think the best one in North America is typically the Mad Catz gun. It's a little all over the board. It's a little dodgy, but House of the Dead 2 is my favorite game in the entire series. I love the game. I've got a lot of nostalgia for it, but I do think in its own right, it's just an amazing light gun game. Whether that be the arcade version, the Dreamcast version, there's a version of it on House of the Dead 3 for the original Xbox. If you watch our light gun buying guys, you probably know how to play it, and there's a remake on the horizon.
There's also a version on the Wii. House of the Dead 2 and 3 Return on the Wii. So there's a lot of ways to play House of the Dead. But $34.34, that's not bad for a Dreamcast game, and not bad for, I mean, you got to buy the guns, obviously, on top of that, but pretty fun.
Yeah, it's an awesome game. Number 9 is a game that is one of the most revolutionary games. One of the most, I had to really pause and just study. And it was like, this is where video games could go. Shenmue, $36.25 for an original copy on the Dreamcast. At some point I had Shenmue 2 when I was younger. I don't have it anymore. Don't know why.
Did you trade or something? Or
I don't remember. When I moved to college, my brother kept the Dreamcast. I don't know. Maybe he still has it. Maybe But Shenmue, just one of the first, like, you could do whatever you want. Open world games, real time, go to the arcades. You go back to it now and it's kind of dated.
It is a little dated, but when it came out, it was revolution. It was one of the first games of its kind where you could do whatever you wanted. Like literally you could walk around, go here, go there. I've only dabbled with the Shenmue series because I was born in '94, so by the time I was old enough to even was coherent, as a little bit, and I was never into those types of games. I never had a Dreamcast, so like I've only dabbled with it, but I know people that like were like of age when this came out, and it was a big deal.
It's, not that the game isn't fun to go back to. I'm not saying that, but to me, Shenmue is one of those things you kind of had to be there.
Yes.
You kind of had to be, because once Grand Theft Auto 3 came out, game changer.
They go, sorry, Shenmue.
And Shenmue, people are like, well, I didn't really like Grand Theft Auto. No, but it's that open world sandbox type of thing.
And now that's every freaking game ever made.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But man, what a revolutionary experience. And if you were there and you know. But it's a game that I just have to have in my collection forever because it meant so much at the time.
Number 8, most expensive Dreamcast game in our collection. We're still in reasonable price. We're under that $40 rule, and it's time to get a little crazy.
Time to make some of that crazy money.
Crazy Taxi 2, coming in at $38.16. Ah, man, the Crazy Taxi games they're so simple, first off.
Yeah.
But they're so fun. And is Crazy Taxi 2 the one where they introduced the jump?
The Crazy Hop.
The Crazy Hop, where you can just hop over cars.
Yeah.
The Crazy Hop is fun. And also the soundtrack, the Crazy Taxi soundtracks. You got it's basically the entire Offspring album, but it's just like it's so good. I don't know. I think it's a later version where there's like an exclusive, like they wrote a song for it.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's 2, but
I think 2 has No Breaks in it from
that's a great
Americana, which I love that song. Every time I hear it, I think about this game. This game is my favorite Crazy Taxi game. And what's weird is back in the day, I had a Dreamcast, but I did not have the first Crazy Taxi for a long time. I ended up getting it, but I've always loved Crazy Taxi 2 the most. And I know there are people that are like, no, 1 is where it's at. 1's fine, but 2, man, I freaking love that game.
The Super Hop is so fun. This game it's just a great pick up and play. You can do a little bit here and there. I just love, like, back in this era, these types of games were so popular that the Simpsons were like, you know, we're gonna rip off Crazy Taxi, and they made Hit and Run and all that stuff. So it's like, I just love these types of games. Crazy Taxi 2 is phenomenal, and less than $40 for a Dreamcast copy of it. That's still really reasonable for a Dreamcast game.
Yeah, just that arcade experience at home. When this came out, and it was like true
the
to
Dreamcast was great for arcade. Like it was like an arcade port, you know?
Tons of games like this where you can sit down and you can play for 15 minutes or 4 hours.
Exactly.
It just depends on what you got going on, but it's going to deliver every single time. And it's a game that's timeless in my mind. You can put Crazy Taxi in front of anyone and they're going to have a good time.
Yeah, because it's so stupid, but just so fun, and it's just fast-paced. Crazy Taxi 2, incredible.
Next game on the list is my favorite of its kind. It is my favorite fighting game ever that I spent the most time with, and I'm not a big fighting game fan.
Yeah, that's shocking.
Street Fighter 2's up there, but Soul Calibur on the Dreamcast, when that came out, minds were blown.
Yeah, this was beautiful.
Arcade fighting game action perfection.
Yeah, they did it. Like Soul Calibur was huge in the arcades, and then when it came to the Dreamcast, it's like, wow, this is identical. This is so good. I'm not a big fighting game fan, so I've never climbed the ladder or whatever it is in Soul Calibur, but I've dabbled with it, and I do have fun with it. The visuals and stuff when this came out, so cool. It looks like an arcade game. Coming in, it's still under $40, $39.48 for this. That's really good, and if you're a fighting game fan, this is like a must-own, a must-play. It's like it is a staple in the fighting game series. Yeah,
for sure. And this game did get ports, I believe, to the GameCube. I don't know about Xbox, but I know it was on PS2 as well.
Oh, was it really? Okay.
Yeah, kind of like Crazy Taxi. The original got ported once the Dreamcast went by the wayside.
Yeah, that was really cool.
It was on the scene for a very short amount of time. But Soul Calibur, you can play it just on about everything. But the Dreamcast was the first home console version of it, and it's perfect.
Number 6 is one of my favorite Dreamcast games, and that's Zombie Revenge. Coming in at $44.99, so $45 for this. We're getting a little pricey, and this game, I don't know if it's worth $45, but for me it is.
I would agree. Yeah.
But for me it is. Not for a lot of you watching, because this game is... It's weird.
It's campy.
It's House of the Dead universe, but it's like, it's top down. You're shooting, you're picking up guns.
Bullets.
Yeah, machine gun.
Yeah.
Shotgun. Dude, it's just, this game is bad, but good.
Yeah.
It is so much fun. If you're into like B-grade horror films or cheesy movies or just like stupid stuff that's done well, that's what this is.
Yeah.
Like, it's done well, but it's stupid.
Yeah.
But it's 2-player. You just laugh. You have fun.
It's a co-op gem, and there's a lot of those on the Dreamcast.
Yes.
And this game, you put this in, you're going to have fun. Because not only is the game fun, but you're going to be laughing. It's got just that nice layer of moldy cheese on it, you know, that is just
thick.
Yeah.
Thick cheese.
And it's just a joy. If you saying $44, I'm like all in. I would pay $100 for that game.
Oh my god!
Because I just love co-op games like this. It's just the best of the best, and it's in the House of the Dead universe type of deal. I love it.
It is wild that they did this, because I think it's a Dreamcast exclusive.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. And then there's nothing they didn't ever continue.
Yeah, and I don't know. Was that game in the arcade? I think it might have
really?
been, but I don't know for sure. I've never played it there.
I've only ever played it on the Dreamcast, and it's one of my favorite Dreamcast games of all time. Zombie Revenge. Find a way to play it. You don't have to spend $45. Just get a buddy, and play it. It's fun.
Number 5 on our list is kind of a dated survival horror game. But I liked it back in the day a lot. Is it tough to go back to now? Yes, it is. But it's Carrier, and it's 4503.
Not bad, not bad.
On the Dreamcast.
There are first survival horror, not bad.
There are better survival horror games in the era, but there was something at the time when I played Carrier, I was like, wow, this is awesome.
It does, when you go back to it, it is dated and it is, older, but it does kind of feel like the survival horror games from that era. You get a little bit of that Resident Evil, Silent Hill vibes from it, just because it's like that style of game. But it is pretty good, and for a survival horror game, coming in at freaking $45 for the Dreamcast, that's kind of a heck of a deal.
Yeah, it's definitely attainable, which there are some other ones on the Dreamcast that are not, and we don't own. But
is there a Carrier 2?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
Not
maybe
that I know
maybe
of.
I'm just making something up.
Yeah, I don't know. But I do remember playing this game at my buddy's house and being blown away by it. Absolutely. And then you go back to it now, it's kind of like...
This would be
it was cool.
This would be a cool game if they remastered or did like what they're doing with Silent Hill and Resident Evil.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That'd be dope.
The Carrier. I think Jaleco made it. So Jaleco, are you still a company? Probably not.
I never known how to say it. Jailco.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Number 4 most expensive Dreamcast games in our collection is another light gun game. And this one, speaking of cheese, the Dreamcast is full of it. That's Confidential Mission. Coming in at $52.89. This game is like if Mission Impossible was a light gun game.
And they hired the worst actors they could afford.
Yeah, like Tom Cruise's knife. Like this game, you play is like it's Confidential Mission. You're a spy and you do spy missions, and it is so fun and so stupid. It's great co-op if you can get the guns to work. If you get the Japanese guns and the Japanese Dreamcast, it plays amazingly.
Yep.
The other guns suck. But once you get it working, this is a great light gun game. It is so fun. There's so many different types. Like you can do zip lines. You can. This game is just a joy.
It's light gun perfection. Again, if you get it running right.
Yeah, if you get it running right.
Up there with just all those light gun games that we have beat so many times. Because every playthrough is just kind of a new adventure and it's fun and you kind of forget some of the dialogue.
And there is, what's cool about Confidential Mission, and same with a lot of light guns, House of the Dead 2, for example, is there is different paths.
Yeah.
So like if you get this done in a certain amount of time, you're going this way. Or if you fail, you're going this way. Like so that's what's fun about light gun games is there's replayability.
Yeah.
In Confidential Mission, man, the first boss you fight or like that big guy, like it's just, this game is dumb.
Well, and I will say the good, and there's not a ton, but the good light gun games on the Dreamcast are so fun to play that we bought a Japanese Dreamcast and the guns just to be able to play those.
Yes, and there's not even that many of them.
Yeah.
But that's how good the games are
for sure.
if they work correctly.
Yeah.
And Confidential Mission is one of them. Find a way to play it. It is so fun.
Number 3 on the list. I'm surprised it's up at $73.19.
Yeah, this is a big jump from the last one.
Yeah, and it's a game that I felt like pretty much everybody that had a Dreamcast had this game. Wonderful game. Jet Grind Radio.
Oh, staple in the Dreamcast library.
We're getting another entry in the series, or maybe it's going to be a remaster situation coming down the pipe.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, so we're going to see what happens. Well, and then there's Jet Set Radio Future that was on Xbox.
Yeah.
Both are fantastic.
Yeah, they're both great.
graffiti, a little bit of skating. It's that rollerblade type of deal. Some grinding.
It's a little bit Tony Hawk.
Yeah,
a little bit, but it's not quite, because you can still go around and grind, but you're graffitiing, you're tagging. The police are after you.
Yep.
And the music.
Yep.
Jet Grind Radio is a staple, and I think if you own a Dreamcast, it's a must-own title. Like, this game is so good. And if you own an Xbox, Jet Set Radio, whatever it's called,
it's super cheap.
Yeah, it's super cheap,
and it's better than this game.
And that's also a must-own game on the Xbox. Dude, these games are so fun. They're so unique. That's exciting that there's at least I feel like they made them and then they forgot about
There's word of this, a Crazy Taxi, like a Streets of Rage, a Shinobi, like Golden Axe, I think.
Sega's like, okay, here you go.
Yeah, let's see what happens. But this is a true joy if you understand and enjoy the spirit of Sega at the time.
This is so Sega.
Yeah,
Sega. Like, it's arcadey. It is getting expensive, $73.19. So maybe find a way to play it.
Yeah.
Don't spend $73 on it, even though it is a great game.
Yeah.
Find a way to play it. Mod your console, emulate it, whatever you have to do. Play this game because it is a true gem.
Well,
it's a true gem.
And it's one of those games that it's kind of tough to think of games like it.
No, because it's like, it's close to Tony Hawk, but not really. It's close to this, but not really.
There was like that Get Up, that Mark Echo or whatever game on the PS2 that was kind of like it.
What's that game on Xbox One that it's very like...
Sunset Overdrive. Does have vibes of this game
Sunset
for sure.
Overdrive on the Xbox One, it's very similar to this, but still not quite.
Yeah.
This is still its own thing. It's very unique.
Yeah, I'm glad you pulled that, because this is the groundwork for that type of game,
dude.
for sure.
Jet Grind Radio, amazing game. Number 2, Sonic Adventure, coming in at $74.43, and I'm going to say this, and it's going to be shocking. This game is awesome. And if you watch the channel for a long time, know that I hate Sonic.
Ooh,
Sonic...
Shots fired.
Sonic sucks. But Sonic Adventure, this game is amazing. It's beautiful. I love what they did with Sonic in a 3D element, and it plays good. This is how I feel like Sonic games should be. Like, I don't like the 2D Sonics and all that stuff, but this game is so good. It's my favorite Sonic game, hands down. Even the soundtrack is really good too. This game is amazing.
Yeah, this game was, when it came out, it was just, again, a mind-blowing thing. I think for Sega fans, it was kind of how Nintendo fans probably felt when they saw Mario 64.
Yeah, because they're like, holy shit, this character's in 3D.
I've always enjoyed the game. It's definitely got its flaws. I never did play the second one.
Yeah,
so
I think the second one, is it worth more?
I think
it might
so.
Be worth
yeah,
more. Yeah, we don't have it,
but that's one I've always wanted to add to the collection if I find it at the right price. But Sonic Adventure is damn good. It was like so close, but there were, when you go back to it, you're like, God, they were right there.
I still really enjoy
some of the NPCs in it, like walking around. It's like, what the fuck is he doing over there?
Just ignore that.
Yeah.
Was this also a launch title for the Dreamcast?
Yeah.
I think it was. Yeah. Which is pretty cool because it's like, the N64 came out with Mario 64, and then the Dreamcast was like, hey, we're kind of Gen 5, but we're also Gen 6.
Yeah.
It was weird, but they were like, here's a 3D Sonic, and from someone that hates Sonic, this game is great. Yeah. So that speaks to how good it is.
Yeah.
Like, it changed my mind about Sonic.
Yeah.
But just for this game.
Yeah. Number 1 game on our list, probably going to be a lot of redundancy here of stuff we said about Zombie Revenge.
Yes.
Game comes in over $100, $101.25. We've reached triple digits.
Triple dig, baby.
Co-op, greatness, Dynamite Cop.
Dynamite Cop. Oh my God, what can I say about this game? It's amazing. It's so good. Don't spend $100 on it. Find a way to play it, but don't spend $100 on it because it's an arcade game.
It's a quick beat.
It's a quick beat, like 30 minutes maybe. It's kind of easy. It's so cheesy. You can pick up guns. You can pick up items. You can pick up like you can pick up tables, you can pick up refrigerators, you can pick up everything.
Hairspray, brooms.
Yeah, you're just
point blank with rocket launchers.
Yeah, just boom.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite things about this game is there's a health bar, obviously, because your character, has health. But they were like, how else should we visualize this besides having a health bar? Maybe the more injured you are, the more naked you get.
Yeah.
So
I forgot about that.
This is my favorite part of the whole game. So when you get hit, you just slowly start losing clothes, which doesn't make any sense. Like,
so when you're down to your whitey tidies, you're in trouble.
Yeah, when you're down to just your underwear, which that happens in this game, you're almost dead.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not realistic at all. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Who came up with that idea? In a meeting, they were like, what if they lose their clothes?
Yeah.
Dynamite Cop, it's probably in my top 5 Dreamcast games, maybe top 3. This game is so fun. We've beaten it so many times.
Yeah.
I think we beat it on stream, we beat it off stream. Get a buddy and play this game, because you're just going to be laughing, you're just going to be... It is so stupid.
Like, I remember, one of the weapons, I can't remember what you were hitting somebody with, but I'm literally sitting there just going, why?
I'm just going, whack.
Like, why is that even an option? So, for anybody wondering, Dynamite Cop is... If you on the Saturn, if you've ever played the Die Hard arcade game,
it's very similar.
I think this is like the sequel to that. They're very, very, very similar. And maybe I could have this wrong because I don't do a lot of research. I just go off memory. But I think it may have been called Die Hard or something like that in other markets.
Yes, I think it was supposed to be a Die Hard game.
Yeah,
but they couldn't get the rights because it is a sequel, and it's very similar to that. If you played it,
if you go back and play Die Hard arcade on the Saturn, I don't even know why that has the Die Hard moniker.
No, because it's just like Dynamite Cop, but a little bit simpler.
Know. Yeah, but whatever.
Dude, Dynamite Cop, I cannot say enough good things if you like bad things. Like, and I talk same. It's basically like Zombie Revenge. If you're the type of person that likes B-grade horror and all this like cheesy stuff, you're gonna love Zombie Revenge. You're gonna love Dynamite Cop. You're gonna both those games, play them back to back. You're gonna have a great night.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, get some beers flowing and let it rip.
Dude, Dynamite Cop.
It's a joy.
It is so stupid.
Yeah.
But it's just so fun.
I've never had a bad time playing it. And it's one of those games, like, as soon as you beat it, you were literally... You want to run again?
Yeah, exactly. Because it's so quick.
Yeah.
It's like, you might as well.
Yeah.
And I think there is, like, different paths as well. So there is replayability and stuff. But you just replay it because it's stupid and fun, It's like, it's kind of like House of the Dead. But that was our top 10 most expensive Dreamcast games in our collection. That's a third of our collection.
Yeah.
That's wild. Our collection is pretty small. And most of these games were under $40. So that's pretty affordable.
Well, and the Dreamcast as a whole is kind of an expensive console.
Yes, it is.
And it wasn't on the market that long. Finding games in good condition, the jewel cases, the console, you find one in the wild, you probably got a 60-40 chance that it's going to work okay.
Or if it's yellow.
Yeah. But man, for the time that I had with it, I appreciate the Dreamcast so much. I love it. It's just the nostalgia I get every time I fire that damn console up. I just love the
Dreamcast
console.
is so, and what's so odd is I don't have any nostalgia for it because I didn't even know it existed when I was a kid. But I've grown to love it since we started a YouTube channel, and it's just so fun. The arcade ports, everything about it, the Lycan games, the cheesiness. Mm-hmm. It is just Sega perfection, and then the end. That's what sucks. It's like the end.
I was one of those early adopters arguing with kids at school that it had a fighting chance against the PS2 when it came out. Well, that's how much I love the Dreamcast.
But when it came out, it did. But then it just, nope.
And I was like, oh no, the NBA 2K games, they're way better than NBA Live. And the NFL 2K games, they were great. But
even 2K Tennis.
Yeah.
2K Tennis?
Yeah.
That's one
of the best games on the console.
Before we go, we got to talk about this beer.
Yeah.
We are splitting a bottle of this Dragon's Milk Reserve S'mores Edition. This is brewed by New Holland Brewing Company out of Michigan, I'm pretty sure. I think I've read that right. This bad boy comes in at 11%. It's a bourbon barrel-aged stout with chocolate, toasted marshmallow, and graham crackers with natural flavors. What do you think?
I could be a prisoner of the moment. It feels like the last year and a half getting new variants of barrel-aged stouts in our area has been pretty tough.
Yeah. I feel like, just getting new any beer in our area.
Yeah, but this is really freaking good. And the original Dragon's Milk, I always thought was just middle of the road.
Yeah, that's one of those, like when you first get into beer, when we first turn 21, it's like, oh, Dragon's Milk, that's the stout. Mm-hmm. But it's always like, it's fine.
I mean, man, I get the chocolate, I get a good graham cracker finish. It is a creamy beer.
It is creamy because of the marshmallow.
I don't know what else I would want from this. Is it on the level of like Bourbon County and that? No. but for a beer that's fairly readily available out there, this is really good.
This is really good. I've never had this variant, the s'mores variant. I will say, we just got out of the fridge, so when you first drink it, it was like cold, and now that it's starting to warm up, the flavor's starting to come out. So I think that's what stouts in general, you want to kind of let it sit for a little bit before you drink it. So probably about 45 minutes out of the fridge and then drink it, because then the full flavor. Yeah, I'm getting that sweetness from the marshmallow. You get a little bit chocolatey, some graham cracker. It's an easy drinker. It's dangerous, 11%. Whew, but this is really good. Short and sweet, just like the Dreamcast life cycle.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the Dreamcast. What just a nostalgia trip. I didn't expect the feelies that I have as we're going through this. It's like, man,
some of the games
I missed when I had this, and I just thought, I'm on top of the world.
You got it at launch, right?
A little after launch. A little, not a lot. I probably, because it was 9/9 of 99, and it was into the early part of 2000. I probably got it in February or March of 2000.
6 months.
Yeah.
That's still pretty early. Yeah. So you probably picked up a lot of games.
I did. And I remember when it was kind of, and I don't know that I knew the writing was on the wall at the time, but I do remember seeing the console discounted at stores and games and used games discounted, not at that time, but a little bit later, thinking like, man, why are there such good deals on this stuff? And I don't think I had the thought like, oh, they're moving out.
I mean, it was only in production for 2 years.
Yeah.
I think it ended in 2001.
Yeah.
It's wild.
But I remember like, wow, this is really cool. And everybody's going crazy about the PS2. I was like, man, they got all these great games used for like nothing. And even the sales of brand new games were insanely cheap.
Yeah. And it's like, wow, our perfect arcade ports, all Icon games, cheesiness, Sega.
Yeah, and then, you get a crashed reality when GTA 3 drops and Metal Gear Solid 2, and you're like,
I'll forget about you, Dreamcast.
Yeah, man, I was wrong about that one. But I enjoyed my time.
I mean, those games are great, but then so is like, you can't compare fucking Dynamite Cop to Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Like, they're both fun, but
just different worlds.
Yeah. I feel like Dreamcast is more pick up and play. It is just arcade, just real quick, go in, go get out. So fun. All the games we talked about today are fantastic. I want to play Dynamite Cop and Sonic Revenge again.
Well, I think that's what's on the docket right after the cameras quit rolling.
We have to.
We appreciate you tuning in, subscribing to the channel. It's thinking. $99.99. Forever remembering the Dreamcast right here on the one and only Gaming Off the Grid.